What we do here is go back. What we do here is go back.
Is sponsored by W Jitterless Energy Blend, formulated to give you the focus and energy with no jitters or crash. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics, including the patented Neurofactor, with more than 10 different flavors to enjoy and start your day strong. Are you ready to try W? Visit W.GG today and use promo code ARROWWAN to save 10% on your purchase today.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is a Friday morning. It's Friday morning. You guys are probably looking for the other show. Well, sad to say the other show is canceled permanently. Yes, you are now here this Friday morning. Friday morning is now the new home for Tuned In Live with me, your host, Mike C. Now, mind you guys, if you guys would love to be a guest on our show at any time, please let us know, and we will get you in there. Your only requirement is to have a Discord server. Download Discord on your PC or your mobile device today, create an account for free, and hop on in and join the server today. So, what's going on today with you guys? And give you guys a brief history lesson on what has happened recently in recent events and such. And it's such a saddening thing to really bring up, in a sense. Well, not saddening to me, but maybe to some people who watch us on a Friday morning. And it's usually with Tom and I. Well, to give you guys a brief on all of that. So, Tom, the URC project, the URC podcast, is a project of Tom's. And it's always been a project of his. It's always been his podcast since 2015. 2015 brought a lot of interesting content between Tom and I as separate entities, separate channels and such. And with that being said, though, the URC podcast, it's been on and off for the last 8 or 9 years. And it's usually due to the change of, I want to say, the casting for the show. Because usually it was between Tom, his friend Tim, and his wife Dana. And like I said, it was on and off for so many years. Until a year ago, where Tom and I have started collaborating with a lot of different projects, a lot of different videos and live streams and such. And he has been a co-host on Tuned In Live several episodes whenever he could. And I told him, you know, if he ever decides he wants to come in and be a co-host or a guest on the show, he can feel free to do so. I'd never force him to pop in there to do anything, you know, that he doesn't want to do. And he's always talked about wanting to revive the URC podcast. Mind you, this is a year ago. He was always talking about reviving it, but he didn't know how he would revive it or who all would be on board with it. And I told him, if you want, I'll be on board with you as a co-host. And so we revived the podcast. Now recently, and this was said by him in a separate live stream that he did with a friend of his this past week. They were playing the game Sea of Thieves, and I just happened to tune in and was able to scroll back to the beginning of the stream where everybody was present, and Tom pretty much stole the show for about 10-15 minutes to explain a lot of this and that, and most of it was fictional garble, basically. One of which he stated I wanted him, or I pretty much begged him, well, maybe not begged him, but I talked him into reviving the URC podcast in a way where he's like, oh, well, I wasn't thinking about it until Mike talked me into it. I didn't really talk him into it. He wanted to do it. I told him I'd be on board with it if he wanted to. He said, okay, let's do it. Now, what had happened? So, that Friday I went to Gettysburg, and Tom hosted what is considered the last URC episode. And he hosted it by himself. I was on my way to Gettysburg that morning. I had to get some sleep, and I had to get up, get the last bit of what I had packed and took off for Gettysburg to meet up with my boy Jeff. So Tom held the URC, and I didn't watch it until a couple days later after I got back from Gettysburg. Apparently, he was in so much tremendous pain that morning, and his wife told him that it sounded like he may have had a mini stroke or something in the night or getting up or whatever. And Tom told everybody on stream, you know, whoever watched it, and said, well, the show must go on, basically, you know. I have never missed an episode of this, and I'm not going to now. Give me a second, guys. I'll be right back.
My future.
The Eagle Vision is the first sedan in the world with the auto stick system. Porsche offers their version in a coupe. This German engineer will compare.
Du kennst mich doch. Ich liebe Schwarz.
So what do you think, Goose?
Also, was denkst du denn gut?
Das ist sehr gut. Meine Einfahrt war automatisch. Auto steht.
And I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. I had a brief interruption there for a couple minutes. So going back to what I was talking, what's going on? Sorry about you were in Tom's fallout. It's okay, Hoyt. Oh, by the way, Hoyt, before I continue on, you probably already seen it. Yes, I am back on Twitter. I sent you a follow over on Twitter in case you see me pop up. So that is, before I get back into talking about things, yes, guys, I am back on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I found another way of getting another account. Now, the previous account that I had, I didn't really do anything on there. I really didn't do anything to get myself kicked off of there. Apparently, you know, X or Twitter's inner system glitched and figured that I was evading ban, you know, from their website. It's like, how in the fuck can you ban? How can you ban somebody from using your fucking platform, from accessing your platform? You know, if you don't want me to fucking type on it or anything, that's fine, but it's like, when you get on there, you know, if you're banned, you're not able to follow anybody, keep up with anybody on there, etc. It's fucking bullshit. But they flagged me for evading ban, you know, and it's like, I didn't even fucking do anything. I haven't even typed anything on Twitter for like a week, and I come back and they're like, oh, well, sorry, you're banned. Well, fuck you. I'll just make another one, I guess. So that's what I did. So you guys will see the X scroll across the screen. As of right now, it's x.com/MikeSAWANENT. That is our new Twitter. The link is going to be in the it should be in the description section. If not, it might not be in the description section on YouTube yet, but I do got it updated on Twitch and on Kick if you guys decide to follow us on there. So getting back to the whole thing with Tom. So he had an episode of URC that Friday morning. And apparently he was in so much pain, he was hurting, he was sick, whatever. And he said, well, I've never missed a show. Well, he missed one show, you know, but, you know, he had to do something. And I don't hold him to that. I really don't hold him to that, hold him to missing a show. Because I've missed shows in the past. And I've had reasons to miss shows in the past. And I will get to that in a second, because it's very interesting with why I mentioned that. So he holds a show and he's like, well, I've never missed a show. I'm not going to cancel now. And it's like, and I've mentioned this on the last episode of Tuned In Live. And he was in the Twitch chat. And I told him, Tom, your health is way more important than an internet stream. If you need to go to the hospital, go to the fucking hospital. Don't fucking sit there and push yourself to do a live stream because you feel like you're obligated to do it. In Tom's mind, mind you all, in Tom's mind, he thinks of all of this as a job. That's what it is. He thinks of it as a job because I've told him, and yes, I have earned a paycheck through Twitch at least once. It accumulates over time with however many donations you get, how many subscriptions you get, and so forth. There's like a $50 threshold or $75 threshold. When you meet that threshold and over, and when the monthly cycle begins, when it switches over, you'll get a check or you get direct deposit for that amount from Twitch. And I pretty much think it's the same thing with YouTube as well. Maybe Kick also. I don't think I'm partnered with Kick yet, but I'm getting there. But anyway, I told Tom, and I said, this is not a job. Your health comes before this shit. Yeah, it's a little silly, but I get he hates the hospital. Everybody hates the hospital, though. Everybody hates the hospital. Nobody likes to go into the hospital because you don't know how long you're there for. You don't know what they're going to find. You don't know what they're going to put in you. You just don't know. You take that chance. But at some point in everybody's life, everybody, I've been there. Everybody's going to be in a hospital once or twice at least, or multiple times. But in his case, what if something happened to him on stream? What if he ended up passing out on stream, falling out of his chair? And I know his wife was there to help him, you know, his wife was home, but it's like, what if all this happened live? Like, why couldn't he go to the hospital to get himself checked out? Now, this was said to me, and I don't think it was behind closed doors. I think it was also on stream live, but it may have been, you know, off air. It was the one day that Tom wasn't on stream with me, and I was hosting with his wife Dana, and we were talking. And yes, it was that day he was helping his brother-in-law or something with their water heater. And she was telling me about how he was moving stuff in the bedroom so they can get to the one wall to have access to it and such and such. Now, mind you all, Tom is handicapped. You know, it's like, don't let the cane fool you. He is handicapped. And he'll tell everybody here, oh, I'm going to push myself. You know, I'm going to do what I can. It's like, well, you're not really supposed to, because you could injure yourself beyond belief. And then your doctor's going to be like, what the hell did you do? But as Dana told me, she's told me personally, and this was before we had that stream, she said Tom can be very stubborn at times when it comes to stuff like that, but he does what he does. So there is a thing to his madness at times. He can be very stubborn when it comes to a lot of things. And I've always supported him no matter what. No matter, you know, what the issue was, you know, he gets pissed off a lot about a lot of things, but I've always backed him, and I was always there for him. I've always helped him out a little bit, you know? But when it came to the stream that Friday morning, and what really tipped it off for me was the following stream that Saturday night. I was at Gettysburg with Jeff, and Tom held a Saturday night URC After Hours episode with Loki and I think his wife, and it was titled Returning URC Back to Its Roots. So I'm thinking, okay, this is very interesting. I just wonder what took place to get this far. But it all happened with the previous stream. So I'm sitting at work that Sunday night, and something tells me to just go back and listen to that stream again. Yeah, being in a hospital sucks, but it's important, especially if you're not feeling well and you may be exactly. Tom has a badly fusioned back from a car accident. He's always said that. And it's going to be with him for the rest of his life. He's tried going to several physicians. He's tried several different surgeons and doctors to see if they could do something for his back to take his pain away, to help him walk a little bit better. But it seems like a lot of them kind of cheated him out on that, or they were kind of scammy, to the point where Tom just like, he just gave up. He just pretty much said fuck it and gave up. But yeah, Tom, he's going to remain the same for the rest of his life. You know, he's going to be hurting, but he's going to be pushing himself though. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have, as much as our friendship right now is pretty much a disaster, I do have respect for the guy, because he is somebody who is determined and dedicated to try and put himself in a position to where he's not out of the limelight, basically. You know, he wants to do something with his life. He doesn't want to stay at home and be on a computer all day, or just sit there all day and stuff, you know, just have nothing to do. He wants to get out. He wants to work. He wants to do this. He wants to do that. That is respectable. You know, it will get boring sitting at home doing nothing all the time. Look at back at fucking 2020. You know, the whole C-19 bullshit. You know, everybody was stuck at home. A lot of people were laid off. A lot of people were fired, forced to stay home. Couldn't go out to stores unless you got the fucking jab. You couldn't go to work because they weren't allowing you there to go to work. It was fucking ridiculous. So I do get where he comes from with that. But the sad reality is, this is his life. And it's something that he does have to accept. I know he doesn't want to accept it. But sadly, you know, if he wants to continue living his life, you know, and yeah, I respect him too. That's why I'm just going to stay neutral. Exactly. Like I told everybody, I don't see you any different if you show support for Tom. I don't see you any different. I'm not going to treat you any different. You know, you come over here, you know, you respectfully hold a conversation in the chat here. You go over to Tom's, do the same thing there. I'm not going to see you any different, you know? I'm not like that. But I mean, I just got to say, like, in Tom's case, you know, he's always talked about how he doesn't understand why somebody wanted to be with him long ago. But, you know, he got that one person in his life. He married her. They love each other. You know, they show it in different ways, but, you know, he can sit there all he wants and talk about not having many friends. Do you honestly really need many friends, though? I don't even have many friends. You know, I've hooked up with Jeff. He's a good buddy of mine. I have maybe one or two friends around here. But you know what? At the end of the day, when you're an adult and you do have somebody in your life, your best friends are within your circle. Like with my best friend is my fiance. I've known her for 24 years. We're engaged. You know, I popped the question 2-3 years ago. I have my kids. I'm a family man. You know, that's my whole world right there. Even though, yes, I do have friends in my life, but that's my whole world right there. If I means to put my life on the line to protect them, to make sure that they're okay and safe, then so be it. But, you know, sometimes Tom would come out and talk about, I don't even know why I'm here anymore. I just wish my life would end. You know, just I don't even give a fuck anymore. Dude, how do you think your wife's going to feel when one day you do pass away? You know, she may be financially stable and all, whatever, you know, but look at all the memories that he's shared with her. that's going to hurt her a whole lot. And I know she doesn't want to see anything bad happen to Tom. It says right now he's, and I'm sorry to say it, he's playing a role of Billy Badass. He's in this mode of, I don't give a fuck anymore. Don't give a fuck Tom. The old Tom has come out and stuff like that. It's like, dude, you're an adult. We're not in high school anymore. Stop talking like a badass. Start thinking. Start using your brain. You got a wife that's looking out for you. Think about your wife. Just like this whole time that him and I were collaborating for YouTube and Twitch content, right? He was stressing out over this shit. He was stressing the fuck out over it. Biggest example, when I took him to Gettysburg, when we went up to Gettysburg with Jeff and his girlfriend at the time, his friend Loki was supposed to hold the URC After Hours episode that Saturday night, but something ended up happening to his computer or whatever, and his wife ended up contacting Dana, and there was this whole thing that went on, and Dana's calling Tom, and Tom's just like flipping out, like, I can't believe he did that, I can't believe this happened, da 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 da. And I'm just sitting there thinking, dude, just chill out. It's a fucking live stream. If it doesn't get done, oh well, it'll happen next week. I mean, I didn't tell him that. I should have told him that, but he was just too argumentative over that whole situation. He was talking about my vacations being ruined by people who are doing stupid shit or calling me about stupid shit or whatever. Da 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 da. I was like, dude, just do you. We don't have to get dead ass drunk. We don't have to worry about a live stream. If Dana was going to hold it, she held it the best she could. It is what it is. Or you could have told her, don't hold it at all. But in Tom's mind that weekend, he looked at us as like we were this fucking professional workforce. He's talking about being equipment manager. He's talking about us having managers and this and that we need to bring more people on and shit, and then maybe hire. I'm like, this is a fucking channel. It's a hobby. I don't see this as a fucking workforce. We come up here to Gettysburg to have a good time, film some shit, and then go home. Now, mind you, sadly, it wasn't the best of any weekends that weekend because, of course, Jeff, he ended up having issues, breathing issues, and he ended up going to the hospital. He's all better now, of course. He's 100%. But the fact that I think it was the first or second night, I think it was, the first night, and we were all out on, the front patio of the motel rooms. I only had one beer. Even though I took like a case of 12, Jeff didn't have anything to drink. I had one beer. Tom, he brought a 6-pack of Killian's beer. I had one of those too. So I had 2 beers. I was a little buzzed, but I try not to get buzzed or drunk. Tom had 1 or 2 beers. He drank from his Calypso rum, and he was just mouthing off the whole fucking time. Like, this is stuff that you guys haven't even heard. Like, he was just going off, and it's like fucking 8 o'clock at night. Like, every time I was trying to have a conversation with Jeff and his girlfriend, or any of us were trying to say something, Tom was just yap 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 yap, and he was fucking damn loud. We were so worried that we were going to get kicked out of the motel. And I told Jeff, I told Jeff, I'm so sorry for this. I took the blame for that. I should have mentioned to Tom, like, Tom, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, you're gonna get us thrown out. Like, I know he's fucking drunk as shit, but like, how how do you approach that? You know, like, I've known Tom for years. You know, he's been a friend. You know, we've been friends for, you know, a good long time. It's like, how do you approach that? You know, he is drunk. It's like, how do you tell him, dude, shut up? Like, we had bikers staying at that motel. We had people, you know, up the corridor from us where he's sitting there. He's like, I'll beat the shit out of them. They don't shut up. If they come and approach me and say something, I'm going to beat the shit out of them. I'm like, dude, you can't sit here and tell and fucking scream that you're going to fucking beat the shit out of somebody. Somebody's going to fuck you up. And he's lucky nobody came over and did. Like, that, for the most part, did ruin the trip, but nobody did tell Tom. You know, like, Jeff and I, we've talked on and off about it at times. I was like, yeah, man, I apologize. I do take the hit for that. Like, I don't know why he felt like it, like he had to just act like that to, like, one up everybody, you know, like, show off. And that's pretty much what Tom did. He showed off when we went to fucking Gettysburg. Like, he was like just something else. And when we got back from, yeah, it is crazy, man. Like, you see how crazy he is on the show and all. Like, he was like that times two. Like, he was just too fucking wild. Like, we had that person that runs the motel. We call her Butch because it's a woman that's transitioning to be a man. Comes walking over. We thought we were going to get thrown out. Like, what the fuck? But luckily, he didn't say anything. We ended up going in the rooms and such, and I think that was the one night that we ended up walking out and around for a little bit. But, you know, even though I had fun that weekend, I don't know if Tom had much fun. Like I said, he was stressing out too goddamn much over a Saturday night stream that should have just never fucking happened, you know? But he was just stressing out too fucking much. And I looked at him and said, look, the only time your wife should call you is maybe 2 or 3 times in the evening to see how you're doing. Because, you know, he was taking medication, wanted to see how he was holding up, because Saturday, he was pretty much killing himself. It was hot outside. We had to go back to Devil's Den for what? To film something when I could have filmed it the previous day with my phone. So the camera that he had, it's an old camera. He's had that camera for about 7 years or so. It's a decent camera, but he got a big micro SD card to put in it. Now, mind you, older model cameras, they only support up to a certain capacity when it comes to micro SD cards. And he figured, well, maybe I could put a terabyte in here, it'll work. Nope, it wasn't recording anything. He couldn't figure out why. It was because the card was too big for the camera. But in his mind, he's like, well, it should have taken it anyway because it's a card. It's like, it doesn't really matter. You know, it's the camera. It's what the camera takes. If you buy a camera and it says on the box, compatible with up to 500 gig storage external, that's your limit. What I took with me to Gettysburg this past time, and I still got more videos to come out, guys. I got like 4 or 5 more fucking videos to come out. Yeah, it's a little nuts with the live stream. Is that important to someone? I don't know. Like, how many episodes of Tune In Live have I've had, you know? Like, at least I'll announce it to people and say, hey, I'm going live, you know, if you guys want to catch it. You know, URC, I know we made it a schedule thing for Fridays, but I tried to put it out there to him. It's like, look, if nobody can hold it, if nobody can make it, don't worry about it. We can postpone it. But he didn't want to do that. He was just so stubborn with that. But aside the whole Gettysburg thing, like I said, getting back to the last episode of URC, the last 20 minutes of it, where Tim brought up the fact of how the show, he felt, lost its way, and it's gone a completely different way, and it's pissed him off in a sense. Now, mind you all, we've done URC. Tom and I have done URC for almost a year. And Tim has even came in and he was, a co-host in there. Even though Tim and Tom, they both started the project. They're both the founders of the project, so to say. But I tell you all, even though Tom, he did recently come out and say in another stream where he was like, I tried to say, let's change this up, let's do this, let's do that, but I don't know where that fell apart at when communication. When he said that, all I could do was laugh, because never once did Tom or Tim or Dana ever say anything to me about changing up the format for URC. Nobody's ever said anything to me about changing the format. Nobody's ever approached me on or off the show about it. And even though Tom said that he took full responsibility for not coming up with topics for the show and shit and this and that, it's like, well, yeah, the show's supposed to have topics. I found topics. Yes, there were some episodes that were a little bit more serious, but how many episodes do we have that were bizarre? I would bring out my sketch character Zelda, and we would do like the fucking soundboard and shit, and we had a whole bunch of fucking laughs. There was like so much randomness that went with it, including with the articles. So I don't know where the fuck we fell apart with that, Even when we had one or two episodes that was just like completely random, where it was no topics at all. Because he talked about returning the show to the roots of being goofy and wild and shit. It's like, well, I gave you that. Apparently that wasn't enough, or that's not what you wanted. So we went back to the other thing. So it's almost like no matter what I brought to the show, it seemed like it was never good enough for any of them. So then the show happened, and they were talking about, why is Mike the only one talking all the time? Why is it, because even though it's always good to have a co-host to bounce off of when it comes to the show. Now, like with me, yeah, I do talk a lot. I'm used to it. I've been doing this thing for 6-7 years. I'm so used to being in front of a microphone talking, rambling on. I don't like having a show with a lot of dead air. I've seen too many people have live streams where they sit there and wait for somebody to say something in the chat before they respond. I'm like, I don't want to hold something like that. Yeah, Tim should have came to you and Tom privately instead of going on that last stream. Yes, they should have. They really should have. Wait, he said, I was butthurt. I wasn't butthurt. Yeah, I may have said I was a little upset, but in all reality, it was a fucked up situation where the last 20 minutes of that stream, they were talking about everything. And it's like, why couldn't you all come to me before? But then, of course, he's been doing a lot of shirking and blaming for about a week between everything, And I'm like, you never brought any of this to my attention. We've never talked about it. So why is it y'all come and do a show about it? And then he tells me, well, we were going to wait till you came back, to the show, the following Friday to talk with you about it. Okay, well, I listened to the fucking show. I listened to it. Like, you didn't think I was going to sit there and listen to it? Yeah, I listened to it. And here's how I took it. I took it like a man. And I looked at it and I said, you know what? If it feels like I haven't brought something special to the show. Tom wanted to resurrect it. I encouraged him to. I told him I would be the co-host. We had 40-some shows of URC. And then all of a sudden, it all comes crashing down in an instant. With this one conversation. So what did I do? Well, everybody's seen the video. If any of you watching have not seen the video that I posted, it is on my YouTube channel. You guys can go watch it. It is my response to what they were talking about. I wasn't bashing anybody. I wasn't calling anybody names. I wasn't angry. I wasn't screaming or hollering or whatever. I was professional. I was polite about it. And I even said, look, I am stepping down as co-host. That way now, since Tim is back in the mix, Tim's got a working computer. He can hop on there with Tom. He can finally be a part of it once again. And I said, you guys can now have your show however you want. And I'll still listen to it and all. And if you guys want me to be a guest on the show at any point in time, let me know. I can make it happen. But it seems like as soon as I did that, it's almost like Tom just lost it all. He just enraged himself. He went all middle school, playground yard, kind of thing, where he just privated all of his shit, edited his banners and icons and saying I quit, no more and shit. And then he put out there, utter random crap is permanently canceled. Even Tim did a video for his little YouTube channel saying, we're sad to announce that URC is permanently canceled, da-da-da. I'm like, so wait, let me get this straight. I stepped down because you all had a conversation. You all were sitting there saying how the show has changed. That's not in your all's image for what it's supposed to be. That you were going to return it back to its roots. I step aside for you guys to take your show and do whatever you want with it. So I do that. I'm a bigger man about it. But then you got Tom, he's acting like a complete crybaby about everything. He's like, well, show's canceled. Show's canceled. We're done. It's over. Like, what is that supposed to do for me? Is that supposed to make me feel bad? No, it doesn't. I don't feel bad. Yeah, high school drama, that's what it is. Like, I've brought so much to that show as a co-host. And, I've made Tom laugh a lot. I laughed a lot. Tim laughed a lot. But at the end of the day, it is what it is with that stuff, And like I said in my last stream, Tom, I wish you nothing but the best. He didn't have to cancel his show. He didn't have to cancel it because I stepped down. I stepped aside so that he could do what he wanted to do with the show with Tim. And that was that. But for me, it feels like at the end of the day, he needed me a lot more than I needed him. It's a sad reality of it, guys. So, let's take a quick break, guys. And when I come back, we will get right into one of our main topics of the show. So, stay right there.
Forecast, clear skies and low fares on Sunjet. Call 1-800-4SUNJET and join the thousands who are saving hundreds of dollars on airfares. On Sunjet, you can fly from New York via Newark to Orlando from just $79. New York to Tampa St. Pete for just $79. And New York to Fort Lauderdale is also just $79. Seats are limited, so call 1-800-4SUNJET to reserve yours. Sunjet, we're shining brighter every day.
Recently, Jeep engineers made an amazing discovery.
We found it.
Yeah, the perfect way to improve our four-wheel drive system.
And one discovery led to another.
Wow. Our new suspension enhancements perform great out here.
The new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Four-Wheeler Magazine's Four-Wheeler of the Year.
Amazing.
The dual airbags?
Yeah.
Obviously, our engineers didn't miss a thing.
This is about how your business can build new profit centers without bulldozing your budget. About looking bigger than you are. This is about call centers, people, and technology that can capture new customers, answer questions, and process orders 24 hours a day. And it's not just for the rich, the powerful, or the daring. Because there's a way you can get the help, hardware, software, and advanced toll-free service to create your call center. All you have to know is how. Network MCI, that's how.
Hey, you're a guy, and guys want to stay cool. How do you do it? With new Speed Stick Gel, proven to keep you drier than any other gel. It's the best gel protection. New Speed...
And so we returned, everybody. You guys are watching Tuned In Live podcast. Live on our channel, Arrow Entertainment on YouTube. Live on twitch.tv/ArrowENT and kick.com/Arrow Entertainment. Another big announcement, too. Yeah, even I tried telling him not to stop, but fuck it. Him quitting is his own. Yep. He's on his own with that. I agree with you, Landis. Or Hoyt. I agree with you. He chose to quit it on his own terms. I don't feel bad about it. That's his project. He did what he did. That's him. So the show must go on. I'm sure he has other plans for projects in the future, so best of luck for him, you know. So anyway, getting into this. It's the year 2020. Oh, before I do so, what the hell was I really talking? Oh yeah, I remember. So for the last 5 years, guys, I was partnered with Restream.io. Restream was one of those sites that I started out as a freebie and I ended up paying for the last year or so, $18 a month. And it's one of those things that you can link up to your streaming software, which one I use is Streamlabs. And what it does, you can link up to, let's see, for $18, I can link up to 5 different platforms at once that I can stream live to all at once. Well, I'm not partnered with them anymore. I am actually partnered with Streamlabs now. Yes, it's $1 more a month, but there's a lot of perks with being a partner with Streamlabs. You get a lot of different perks with it, and I can stream on up to, I think it's 6 or 7 platforms on. So if I can stream like right now, and I'm trying to get it set up to where my fans on TikTok, yes, I do have a TikTok, guys, link will be down below in the description section somewhere. I'm going to try to stream to TikTok as well. The only thing about streaming to TikTok is you gotta hit them up specifically for a stream key. And it's hard. It's like pulling teeth to get a stream key through TikTok. So if I'm able to get one, hopefully here soon, within the next couple months, we can also start streaming to TikTok as well as Instagram. So we could bring the show to multiple platforms at once other than just these 3. So for right now, the 3 standard that you guys can watch us on is Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. So that is pretty cool. You know, Streamlabs, they do have a lot of good perks with it. Sometimes, depending on your internet, depending on your computer, sometimes you end up having some issues here or there, whatever. But at the end of the day, I can keep tabs on my chat on the side. I can keep tabs on who subscribes, who follows, and such, and all that good stuff. So if you guys use Streamlabs, if that's something you're looking for, that you want to look into doing, if you live stream and you want to
live stream to different channels at once and still keep an eye on the chat for everywhere you go, that's the way to go. Or if you want another alternative route, even if you just want to stream for free on up to 2 platforms at once, you guys can still go to restream.io. Sign up today for your for a free account, and you can have up to 2, like I said, 2 platforms at once you can stream live to. And that's what I was using. So I was using it for 5 long years. So I do want to say thank you to those at Restream.io. I love using their service. I've never had an issue with Restream at all. It was a good service. I'm sorry to kick it to the curb, but I went on to other better things. I went on to Streamlabs, but I'm not going to knock Restream. I'm not going to knock it. So if anybody wants to try that out, if you're into streaming, go to Restream.io, check them out. Like I said, streaming to multiple platforms at once may seem like a dumb idea for some, or whoever may think it, but let me tell you, you can pull in different audiences through different platforms. Let's say you have family watching you on Facebook, if it even allows you to stream to Facebook. You can have family and friends on Facebook watching you live. You can have an audience on Twitch watching you live, an audience on YouTube and such. You bring in so much of an audience. You can interact with different people on different platforms. That's why I've been doing this for the last 5 years, is streaming to multiple platforms at once, because you could bring in a bigger, broader audience. That way, if somebody's watching you on Twitch, they can follow you on YouTube. You can say, hey, our stream's up on YouTube. We have other content on there. We have vlogs. If you want to follow us on there, and then boom, they can follow you on there. So it's a very clever strategic thing when it comes to live streaming. I gotta drink healthy this morning, guys. Gatorade Zero. I'm sitting here on the East Coast, guys. Debbie's blowing through my fucking backyard. Let me tell y'all something. Debbie blows. I ain't talking about little Debbie either. Well, she can. I blow some of her fucking ding dongs from time to time. Let me tell y'all something. Debbie, Hurricane Debbie, all this. Well, here's the funny thing about Debbie. The path, the trajectoral path of Debbie was coming up straight up the middle of Maryland, where I'm at. Coming straight up the fucking middle, right? And going to hit my buddy Jeff up in PA. Jeff's only like an hour and a half to 2 hours away, right? So, this motherfucking storm, I'm waiting for the bulk of it at work last night. I'm sitting at work last night. I'm waiting for the fucking bulk of it to hit, But it didn't. Instead, the bulk of the motherfucker went to the goddamn west of Maryland, where the fucking, where the mountains and all that shit are, right? That's where all that stuff went. So the big bulk of it went to the west, went north, and we're going to get the fucking tail end of it. And we probably only got maybe a couple little showers here or there so far. That's about it. But let me tell you, I have this tent in my backyard that served a purpose. You can walk out the back door. It was hovering over our back porch, Kept the sun, it just kept us free from the sun, It was like a nice little shade sitting there. Come home from work this morning, that motherfucker's blown fucking over. I mean, it was toppled over in a fucking backyard. And of course, one of the arms on it broke too. So I'm like, this fucking storm, I tell you. Sue Mother Nature for Debbie. The East Coast needs some goddamn rain. You know what? That's funny. We haven't had that much rain either over here in the only time we had rain, maybe like once a week or once every 2 weeks. But goddamn, we've had fucking heat wave after heat wave. We had 2 straight weeks of triple-digit weather. I shit you not. And that got annoying so goddamn fast. I couldn't bear going outside 102, 105, 110, 101 day by day. It was fucking ridiculous. Just to just to step outside my door and feel like that scene from Terminator 2 where, where Sarah Connor's standing there burning alongside the fence, that's how I felt. And it's just incredibly fucking hot, man. But yeah, I tell you, we do need a rain and all. Yeah, hot weather is your kind of weather. Yeah, you can keep it, man. I don't know where you live at, but let me tell you, a lot of people, shit, if y'all want hot weather, move down to either Mexico or Florida, because the closer you are to the equator, the hotter you're going to be. That's why I like to try to educate a lot of the younger audience, especially those who haven't taken biology or geography yet and all that. Oh, you live in PA, okay. Oh, you're up in the state with Jeff, okay. You're somewhere up there then, alrighty. But yeah, down near Florida and all, during the year, when the Earth shifts its axis and it rotates back and forth, kind of like a fucking teeter-totter, it's like a seesaw. And it's okay, during the wintertime, it goes to where, the northern hemisphere is facing further away from the sun, so it's colder, and the southern hemisphere is getting those goddamn safari jungle weather, it feels like a swamp down there. It's 130 degrees, But no matter where you are near the equator, you're gonna have fucking year-round summer. I'm I don't want to fucking have year-round summer of that shit. That's if you move to Alaska, you get 6 months of day and 6 months of night, and it's all because of the way the Earth is aimed at the fucking sun. So during the summertime hours, as the northern hemisphere is facing the sun, Alaska is going to have the 6 months of daytime, where it's okay, it doesn't, there's going to be no nighttime. You're just gonna have to grin and bear it for 6 fucking months. Put the heavy blankets over your windows at night, during the nighttime period or wherever you go to sleep and shit. And then when the fucking, Earth shifts again, 6 months of night. God damn. And I know it's cold up there. I know it's cold in Alaska and all, but you know what? And I know a lot of people love the heat. Me, hey, fat people were not meant to swelter in the summertime. Let me tell you that. I think I'll fucking take Alaska over Mexico any fucking time, Fuck that. Because at least, with the wintertime, when the weathertime, with the colder weather, you could find ways to bundling up and keeping yourself warm at least. Yeah, I know people will die of hypothermia and freeze to death and shit like that. But during the fucking summertime, you're dying of heat strokes. You're trying to keep yourself cool. You're trying to keep yourself hydrated. But none of it's fucking working. The fucking sun's evaporating your body into the fucking air. You probably see the goddamn sweat glands seeping up from your body like fucking sperm into the sky. It's oh no, that's fucking sweat and that's sweat and your moisture coming out of your body and shit. Mom wishes we can move to the south, but I'm stubborn and don't like to change. I feel you, man. At least where we're at, me from Maryland and you in PA, at least we have varying things, it does vary a little bit. So I gotta take a phone call real quick, guys, and I'll see you in a minute.
Lead, rated R. Starts Friday, July 19th.
Some people quit when they reach their threshold of pain. Some don't.
At Michelin, we believe
believe a tire that's just good in the rain isn't good enough. Introducing the Michelin X1 with a 6-year, unlimited mileage tread life warranty. It gives you better wet traction than any rain tire and Michelin confidence in any driving condition. It has to, because the way we see it, you don't just cover a lot of miles. You cover a lot of weather. The Michelin X1.
This is for my grandfather, who always said I'd make the family proud. For my mom, who never let me out the door without my homework. For my dad, who worked the night shift to make our lives better. For myself, for my future.
The Eagle Vision is the first sedan in the world with the auto stick system. Porsche offers their version in a coupe. This German engineer will compare.
Du kennst mich doch. Ich liebe schwarz.
So what do you think, Goose?
Also, was denkst du denn, Good?
Das ist sehr gut. Meine Einfahrt war automatisch, Autostick.
He likes the choice of automatic or auto stick. Excellent handling without a clutch.
What's he think of Vision's price?
Hast du meine Gute? They're screwed.
No, we get the message. Thank you.
Now get...
Alrighty, guys. I know I keep straying away from what I'm supposed to talk about. We are in the second hour of the show. You guys are just now joining us. If you're watching us on Kick or Twitch or YouTube, hit that follow button. Hit that subscribe button down below if you guys are enjoying the show so far. So, let's talk a little bit about... do I want to do this? And I know I usually talk about politics from time to time on here, but let me just say, it's been a fucking roller coaster of fuck for the last couple weeks or so. When it comes to now Kamala, who's running for president, and Joe Biden has stepped down as nominee from the whole thing. Thank fucking God. So even though we're not getting 4 more years of Biden, thankfully, we're getting something a lot worse. Yeah. We're getting Kamala. Apparently she was a fucking hooker or some shit back in the day. She sucked a lot of dick or whatever, you know? So there's a lot of history going on behind that. Now, there's another thing that I want to point out. And it's hysterical. It really is. Because over the past week or so, there have been politicians, there have been people who were citing Trump and attacking Trump because he mentioned something about Kamala's race during a debate. Now, it is hilarious. Let me see if I can find that clip. I want to see if I can find that clip real quick. Let's see. Trump on Kamala during interview. Like, you guys would have to see it for yourself. But I want to find the right one. Is this it? Speaks to black... Okay, speaks to the journalist. Let me see if... I want to see where it gets to the part where she first questions him about it. And this was on PBS. Holy shit, PBS had their own thing. I want to get to where... What the hell were they doing? They were fucking interviewing chairs. Wow. Okay. Is this it? Here we go. What, did Trump have some kind of hip-hop thing going on? Yes, he did. Trump come out to the fucking Tupac.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals. from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort.
Oh, my God. Dinner with a white supremacist. You know, white supremacists, it's always some kind of race card that people like to pick. And it's always with Trump. You know, it's like if somebody walks up to you and asks you, who are you voting for this year? And you tell them Trump. Oh, you're a white supremacist. You're with the KKK. Oh, you were a slave owner. That's their only fucking that's their only fucking weapon that they go off of. They're so quick to call you a racist because you support somebody like this. And this journalist, I don't even know who this fucking journalist was for, but this was at the National Association of Black Journalists Conference in Chicago. This took place July 31st. So this took place a little over a week ago when this happened. And of course, already these journalists are already on the attack. This is right at the start of the whole thing. You know, Trump comes out and she's already on the attack with all these racial remarks saying that Trump supposedly said this, Trump said that, whatever, you know? Just like, okay, remember back then when Obama took office, or even before Obama took office, how everybody sat there and said that he wasn't born in the United States. He wasn't born in the United States. Well, if you do the research, and I know people have been trying to say that his birth certificate was forged and all this and that. I actually did an episode of Tune In Live about this. And somebody called it out and was like, well, this is old news. This is old news. Yeah, who gives a fuck? I'm reporting on it, you know? But sad to say, Obama was born in the United States. He was born right after, like a year or two after Hawaii became the 50th state. I believe I believe they were the 50th state. Like, don't quote me on that. Hold on, let me look it up. Maybe somebody here can correct me. Hawaii. Okay. Hawaii. Okay. Let's see. The 50th states. Okay, so Hawaii is the most recent to join the Union in 1959. Yeah, Hawaii was attacked December 7th, 1941, which is Pearl Harbor. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so Hawaii was admitted to the Union August 21st, 1951. Or 1959. I'm sorry, 1959. So 1959. So if you look at Barack Obama. Alright, he was born 1961 in Honolulu. So Obama was born within the U.S. just 2 years after Hawaii became the 50th state. So that's all been debunked right there. That's all been debunked. Even though he has background heritage from Kenya because of his father, because of his mother, whoever the fuck was, you know, they got it all. You know, he's got the background heritages and shit. He could be Native American for all I care. He could be fucking Cherokee Indian for all I care. He was fucking Muslim. He's a Muslim. He ain't fucking straight up black like, oh, he was African black. You know, he's not Nigerian black. He's Muslim. A lot of Muslims are black in color. That's the tone of their skin. But yes, he was born in the United States. So yes, he did have the term as president, under the proper terms, as much as nobody wants to admit that. But I don't think Trump has ever said anything about that. I don't think he's ever said anything about Obama not being American born. Because everybody was trying to talk him down on the whole birth certificate thing.
So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote.
Yes, he even talked about Kenya, his Kenya heritage at the 2004 DNC. Yes, he did. Yeah, because people thought he was born in Kenya. That's his background. That's his heritage. That'd be like if somebody fucking sat there and said, "I was born in the South. I'm a Confederate." Like, no, the fuck you ain't. You were born in the South. You were born in what? Texas? You were born in fucking Louisiana? You were born in Missouri? You're a fucking American. We ain't no goddamn fucking Confederate motherfucker. Jesus Christ. But yeah, Barack Obama, he's an American-born citizen. He does have background, heritage. He has background traits that go all the way back to Kenya.
For you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question.
Yep.
You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network,
Yep.
a terrible network.
Exactly.
And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was wrong.
Mr. President, I would love if you can answer the question on your rhetoric and why you believe that black voters should trust you with another 4 years.
I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act.
For you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work, in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire.
Yes, they are.
Is that
MSNBC.
acceptable language to you? And will you
Mark
tell
Levin
those
calls them
Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
LSD or something.
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah.
Jesus
go ahead.
Christ.
Is that what your definition is?
That is
Give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition of that.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a very direct question.
Define it for me, if you would.
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly.
That's what it is, PMS NBC. Yeah,
and
that's what it was.
She was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that
I think somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct.
Yes, that is true. And I watched a video on TikTok where somebody was talking about how he presented that question. And even some black voters agree with Trump on that. Now, with what he was explaining how Kamala is, now, when you look at Kamala Harris, how do you guys picture her? All right, how do you guys picture her? Now, if you guys are watching this after it's gone live, I want you to pause the video, and I want you to leave your comment down below in the description section. Let me know what you think about it. I want you guys to let me know what you guys think down in the description section. Do you think Kamala Harris is African American? Do you think she's Native American Indian? Do you think she's Mexican? Do you think she's Asian? Because somebody said, okay, it's very clever. Somebody said that the way he explained it. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back.
$9. And New York to Fort Lauderdale is also just $79. Seats are limited, so call 1-800-4SUNJET to reserve yours. SunJet, we're shining brighter every day.
Recently, Jeep engineers made an amazing discovery.
We found it.
Yeah, the perfect way to improve our four-wheel drive system.
And one discovery led to another.
Wow. Our new suspension enhancements perform great out here.
Alright guys, let me get back into doing this real quick. So yeah, somebody said that Kamala was basically a chameleon. That's how Trump put her as. She's playing her whole game as a chameleon of trades. Whereas with one group of people, she's black, African American. With another group of people, another different audience, she's Asian, or she's Native American, or whatever she is. Kamala Harris is a chameleon of trades. That's what was coming out of this whole thing. When Trump said, when I met her years ago, I've known her as an Asian woman. I didn't know she was black. But it's like all of a sudden now, okay, now that she's running for president, people are looking at her as the first black lady to run for president. And that's what she's running with. Is she really black? I don't believe so. She could be mixed, yes. Her skin is a little bit dark in tone. But there's some other heritages, other backgrounds playing a role here. Yeah, she could be Asian. Yeah, she could be Native American Indian. Was she born in Africa? I don't know. Let us see here. Let's look up Kamala Harris, okay? She was born in Oakland, California. Okay, 1964. So who were her parents? Her father, Donald J. Harris, who was a Jamaican-American economist and professor, whatever the fuck that is. So he was Jamaican. And then Shyamala, I guess that's I don't fucking know. She was born in British Asia. Or not Asia. She was born in Asia, but she was born in India. So her mother was Indian. Mother was born in India. Father was born in Jamaica. She doesn't really have any African roots to her whatsoever. Just like the Wikipedia is already updated to the bullshit, okay? She is the first female vice president, making her the highest ranking female official in U.S. history, as well as the first African American and the first Asian American vice president. That's where they're wrong right there. Because there is nothing African about Kamala Harris. She has no African American roots, unless her dad has African roots, even though he was Jamaican born. But she is not African American. There's nothing African about her. Her background is Jamaica and India. So where in the hell do these liberals get? Where in the hell do these idiots who are voting for her get that she's African American? She does not share those traits. It fucking appalls me that this is what the media is running with. She's an African American lady. She could be the first black lady to run. Yeah, okay. We'll see how that turns out come November. But aside from her, okay, I think there is some videos here. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys heard of who Tim Walz is. I don't even know much about Tim Walz, but he is now supposedly the running mate with Kamala Harris. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz was a dark horse from the start, left off early list of potential running mates, but no one used the 16 days since Joe Biden stepped aside more effectively than Walz, who charmed Harris and national Democrats alike with a Diet Mountain Dew-fueled media tour that labeled the opposition as weird and won him a spot in history. That's right. This is the idiot that goes around and calls everybody weird. The idiot that calls you weird. Oh, Trump wants to do better for the country. He wants to end all wars. I think that's weird. Yeah. Let's see. The choice will leave an indelible imprint on the image of Harris that is still forming for many Americans who know her far less than they do Biden or former President Donald Trump, raising the stakes of a choice that can be difficult at times, or the best of times, let alone under unprecedented time pressure. In Walz, a gun-owning hunter who enlisted in the Army National Guard at 17, Harris sees a loyal governing partner who complements her background. The governor does not typically use a teleprompter, so had to practice with one Tuesday before his big speech at the debut rally in Pennsylvania. So hold the fuck up. We got a Democrat here. We got a Democrat who is a gun-owning hunter. I didn't think Democrats were all for owning weapons. They're all for taking away your weapons. So he owns a gun. He's a gun-owning nut, right? Or that's what they would call it? Okay. But there's also a thing here, too. Ultimately, people close to Harris say it came down to trusting her gut with the aid of comparing it to finding a husband. No one was perfect, but Walz was seen at the best. But here's something else, too. It was said that he, from something that he, I'll be true if it's, yeah, shocked if it's true, yeah. But here's something else. Somebody else came out and said that he stole valor. Yeah, he apparently stole valor by something that he has said. And I'm going to play this clip for you. This is J.D. Vance as he rips Tim Walz over.
Sir.
Last night, Governor Walz suggested that because of your Ivy League education and your Silicon backing your political career, that you yourself are part of the elite. What are your first impressions of them trying to frame you this way to the American public?
Well, look, I came from a family where nobody in my family had ever gone to law school. I grew up in a poor family. The fact that Tim Walz wants to turn it into a bad thing, that I actually worked myself through college, through law school, and made something myself. To me, that's the American dream. And if Tim Walz wants to insult it, I think that's frankly pretty bizarre. Now, look, what really bothers me about Tim Walz, it's not, even the positions that he's taken, though certainly he has been a far left radical. You know what really bothers me about Tim Walz as a Marine who served his country in uniform? When the United States Marine Corps, when the United States of America asked me to go to Iraq to serve my country, I did it. I did what they asked me to do it, and I did it honorably, and I'm very proud of that service. When Tim Walz was asked by his country to go to Iraq, you know what he did? He dropped out of the Army and allowed his unit to go without him, a fact that he's been criticized for aggressively by a lot of the people that he served with. I think it's shameful to prepare your unit to go to Iraq, to make a promise that you're going to follow through, and then to drop out right before you actually have to go. I also think it's dishonest. Something, again, if you guys ever get an opportunity to ask Tim Walz or Kamala Harris some questions, he made this interesting comment that the Kamala Harris campaign put out there, and I bet they're regretting they put it out there now, because he said that and he was making a point about gun control, he said we shouldn't allow weapons that I used in war to be on America's streets. Well, I wonder, Tim Walz, when were you ever in war? What was this weapon that you carried into war, given that you abandoned your unit right before they went to Iraq?
Y'all hear that, right? This motherfucker told people that he was in war. This was somebody who turned around and quit the Army and shit. He didn't fucking go to war. He joined up for it, but he turned around and said, fuck this. This motherfucker's stolen valor. He's going around telling everybody that he was in the fucking war. That is a grand insult on veterans everywhere. And this is Harris's running mate.
And he has not spent a day in a combat zone. What bothers me about Tim Walz is the stolen valor garbage. Do not pretend to be something that you're not. And if he wants to criticize me for getting an Ivy League education, I'm proud of the fact that my mamaw supported me, that I was able to make something of myself. I'd be ashamed if I was him and I lied about my military service like he did. Sir. Could you speak a little louder? Sorry.
Will Jones from Local 4. I want to talk a little bit about race. I was at the National Association of Black Journalists conference last week where President Trump made some attacks on Vice President Harris's biracial heritage. You're married to an Indian American woman. You have biracial children. How do you explain his attacks, and what is your reaction to his attacks as a father of biracial children?
Yes, sir. So I am the father of biracial children. Actually, my wife is here today. My kids are back home with my aunt today. And look, I was not bothered at all by what President Trump said, and I didn't take it as an attack on Kamala Harris's biracial background at all. What I took it as was an attack on Kamala Harris being a chameleon. She pretends to be one thing when she's in front of one audience. She pretends to be something else when she's in front of another audience. And
just as I was telling you guys, she's a chameleon. How she pretends to be one thing in front of one audience and pretends to be something else in front of another audience. She's catering to several different audiences in favor of votes for the election. Isn't that some shit?
And I think he was observing the basic foundational reality that Kamala Harris pretends to be something different depending on which audience she's speaking to. Now, she has been able to hide this a little bit because for the past couple of weeks, she only speaks in front of a teleprompter. She never gives unscripted remarks, and she's hidden from the American media and from the American people. But we know she's a chameleon. We know she's a person who promised to defund the police and now wants to pretend she's a tough prosecutor. She said that she would be our border czar, and yet for 3.5 years, we have an open border. She said that she would bring some common sense and lower inflation to our economic policies, and yet she cast the deciding vote that raised interest rates, raised home prices, and raised food prices. Donald Trump said something very simple, totally inoffensive, but frankly, obviously true to me, which is that Kamala Harris is a chameleon. She's a fake, and the American people have to look at her record if we actually want to know how she stands on the issues, because her words simply can't be trusted. Sir.
How can you fake your race? If
I'm sorry?
Both Indian and black, how can she fake her race?
She fakes who she is depending on the audience that she's in front of, and that's who she is, and that's who she's always been. Sir.
Charlie likes boxing a little bit different here. You've been criticized as being a little too serious, maybe angry sometimes. What makes you smile? What makes you happy?
Well, I smile at a lot of things, including bogus questions from the media, man. I mean, look, I think if you watch a full speech that I give, I actually am having a good time out here, and I'm enjoying this. But look, sometimes you got to take the good with the bad. And right now, I am angry about what Kamala Harris has done to this country and done to the American southern border. And I think that most people in our country, they can be happy-go-lucky sometimes, they can enjoy things sometimes, and they can turn on the news and recognize that what's going on in this country is a disgrace. And if what Kamala Harris has done at the southern border, and if what Kamala Harris has done to raise the price of groceries and housing, if that doesn't bother you, then I think that you don't have a pulse, right? And so, look, I think my message to the American people is very simple on this, that President Trump in particular has the best sense of humor of anybody I've ever seen in American politics. He loves to joke. He loves to tell, he loves to make fun of everybody that's out there. And I think you got to do that from time to time. But he's also a guy who's very frustrated with what Kamala Harris has done to this country. Both of those things can be true. And I think most Americans can joke around, but also be pissed off about the direction of this country. Thank you, sir.
And there's more to that whole interview right there, but let me see if I can actually grab this video, and I am going to share it to our Discord. So guys, if you are following us on Discord, I am going to put it under the Tuned In Live scraps so you guys can watch that. And for those of you who are on Twitter, you know what? Since I am back on Twitter, I know some of you guys are not on Twitter. Let me see if I can get a proper link for this, because Microsoft Edge is big bitch on internet when it comes to getting the web address for something. So let's copy this. There we go. Let's go back over to the tweeters. Okay, there we go. So if you guys have TikTok, you can now watch that video. It is up. It's up on my my Twitter feed, so you guys can watch that later in full. It's a 15-minute video on that whole thing. But yeah, this guy Waltz, whoever he is, I don't know much about it. You follow me back? All right, that's cool, man. But yeah, whoever this guy is, he is a bad fucking candidate for this motherfucker. Stolen valor and shit. Like, I could go into a whole fucking fiasco with this motherfucker, but I think I'll save that for a big political episode of Tuned In Live. Like, I would love to rip that son of a bitch a new asshole, basically, like the way he is. But let me give you this video. This is a bonus video I want to give you all. I found this on TikTok this morning rolling through. You guys will love this.
Hey, do you believe in white supremacy?
What do you mean by that? That's kind of a loaded question.
How is that a loaded question?
Okay, but wait a second. Let me ask you this. So do you believe in white supremacy?
Yes.
Then how did Obama become president?
Because he was selected.
By who?
White people. No.
All right, hey, time out. Hey, thank you. Hey, sir, I got to move on.
Y'all heard that, right? So, Owen Schroyer, whoever Owen Schroyer is, he makes liberals sound stupid. He makes liberals sound stupid. And this one liberal, he's a black guy. He gonna sit there and be like, do you believe in white supremacy? What is white supremacy? Like, this motherfucker talking about white supremacy. Right? He's talking about white supremacy. And he said it's a loaded question, right? So then the guy goes on to ask him a question. He's like, do you believe in it? He's like, yeah. Okay, how did Obama become president? How did Obama become president? Oh, he was selected. By who? White people. There's some white supremacy shit there, huh? White people voting for fucking a black man or said to be black man? Do an election special. You know what? If I got the time for it, because I know I'll be working election night, but if I have the time, if I am able to, I will probably do one before and after if I can, like the day before and the day after. I mean, that doesn't sound like a bad idea at all. Just have a stream where I'm talking about, this is what happened, and that's what happened, and we're gonna see this, we're gonna see that. So yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind there, Hoyt. I'll definitely put that in mind as a special election stream for that. But yeah, there's just so much going on with politics today. And this video, oh wow, this video did save to my TikTok. You guys got to listen to this, because I tried reposting this on my TikTok
on my TikTok feed, and TikTok took it down. Yeah, they took it down. Election integrity or some shit like that. I forgot what it was, but it's like, oh, you're posting fake shit. You're posting fake shit. Okay, it's still up. Some people are still posting it. How is it that with TikTok, liberals, Democrats, anybody in the LGBT can post whatever the fuck they want? They can post fucking pictures of Donald Trump being shot up and shit and bloodied and all. They can sit there and talk about how we're pieces of shit. But yet, when you post your opinion about something on TikTok and it gets flagged, yeah, there is too much censorship on fucking TikTok. I don't even know why I'm on it, but take a gander at this. If I can unmute it.
Donald J. Trump, an apology. President Trump has been indicted by Fulton County. May I remind you that Fulton County has been found to be in violation of election law, not once for the hand audit, but twice for the machine count. And now...
Hey, what's going on there? There's Big Jeff stopping by at work. Storm's pretty heavy. Didn't mount to shit. Yeah, I'm looking out my door right now. I'm not seeing anything. The only thing that happened was a tent blew over in my fucking backyard that I gotta throw away, but that's the only thing. But get this. Tent blows over. That motherfucker parachutes itself over on this upside fucking down, alright? I got a fucking chair and a small metal stand on my front porch. A small little metal stand that weighs about 2 fucking pounds. That motherfucker didn't budge. It's still sitting in place. This little 2-pound, it's about the same weight of a fucking glass plate sitting on my front porch. The fucker didn't budge to the wind. But this fucking tent I got in my backyard parachutes itself upside down. Explain that shit to me. Debbie doesn't know how to fucking blow today, I tell you. I swear to God. But yeah, so this video I'm playing. What I'll do here. Well, let me copy this real quick. Because I know, Jeff, you probably will want to check this video out here too. I think I might have shared it with you. I can't remember if I did or not. Copy. Alright, I'm going to post it on the tweeters. It's stupid to call it X. And I'm going to post it right here in Jeff's Discord so you guys can check that out later on. I'm going to post it in my server under the TuneIn Live scraps here. And let's play some more of this. This is about the, I guess it's the governor or the mayor down in Georgia talking about Fulton County, the whole thing with Fulton County going on. So let's go back and rewatch this.
Georgia owes President Donald J. Trump an apology. President Trump has been indicted by Fulton County. May I remind you that Fulton County has been found to be in violation of election law, not once for the hand audit, but twice for the machine count. And now we can prove that they had intentional human intervention, which is the predicate for election fraud.
So yeah, it's just like we all knew all along anyway. So there is evidence in Fulton County of election fraud from back in 2020. Like, remember back when, you know, the virus struck and shit, and people were forced to vote from home, you know, get the paper ballots in there, and those who were able to go out and vote at the machines. Yeah, that was election fraud. Yeah. It was fucking told to people. Trump told people about this. We told people about this. Jeff on his show told people about this. There is election fraud.
But all this motherfucking shit was swept under the rug for the last 3 to 4 years. And people are like, oh, you're crazy, you're crazy. Biden won that fair and square. No, the fuck he didn't. No, the fuck there was fucking election interference. Yeah, it was definitely shady as fuck. It really was. So now you got people that are now coming out. The election's coming up. You now got people. I don't know how old that video is. I want to say it must have came out this year. It had to have. But there's proof. People are coming out and saying the whole thing was fucking rigged. Like, how much more do you need explained? You know? But there's going to be just so much that's going to happen this year when it comes to the election. It's just so much that's getting ready to happen. It's a bunch of fucking bullshit. You had Trump, who was almost murdered on live television. We almost witnessed the assassination of a presidential and former president on national TV. But there's even more. There's even more to the story that I want to play for you guys before I get into talking about artificial intelligence. Oh yeah. Let me play this video for you guys. This is something very, very...
This held its first press conference since Donald Trump was nearly executed on live TV. After stonewalling the media and congressional investigators for 3 weeks, Director Ronald Rowe made a shocking admission.
I think Trump
Watch.
will win.
Can you confirm that this was the first 2024 campaign event that counter sniper teams were assigned to the former president?
It was the first time Secret Service counter snipers were deployed to support the former president's detail.
The former president of the United States and the nominee as the Republican, the man who Democrats and the media have been labeling a clear and present danger to democracy, Hitler and a dictator, wasn't given Secret Service counter sniper teams at his campaign rallies for the last 2 years.
That doesn't shock anybody, does it? All the rallies that Trump has held in the last 2 to 3 years, he was never given sniper coverage from Secret Service. He was never given coverage. And they were telling people this, that he had coverage from Secret Service, but they didn't give him any kind of coverage, just like at this rally where he was shot at. It was a bunch of random motherfuckers. A bunch of random fucks who didn't even know what the fuck they were doing. Or how to fucking present themselves. This clip goes on, listen.
That means when they put Trump on trial in Manhattan, every day when he returned from court to Trump Tower, there were no Secret Service counter snipers. The whole world knew Trump's schedule and location for 6 weeks in a city with thousands of windows and high-rises. No Secret Service counter snipers.
Now, doesn't that strike you guys at least a bit suspicious right there? Like, they knew. Everybody knew where Trump was going to be. There was always a potential for somebody to pop up at those spots to take a shot at Trump. He could have died. He could have been murdered at any point in time in the last 3 years. And of course, it would have been Secret Service's fault. You know, like right now they're investigating, well, they should investigate very deep into it and fire every last motherfucker there. But I'm pretty sure when Trump gets into office, that's what he'll do. He'll fire every last one of them and hire a whole new team of people that will be dedicated to do their job no matter who's in office.
That means when Trump was in the Bronx, no Secret Service counter snipers. Anyone could have climbed onto a tree, could have gone onto a rooftop with a gun. What about when he went to the bodega in Harlem after court? He's enveloped by buildings, hundreds of windows, any one of which a rifle could have fired from. No Secret Service counter snipers. So why all of a sudden, after 2 years of no Secret Service counter snipers, they showed up in Butler? And that was the rally where there was an attempt on his life. After the assassination attempt, the intelligence community leaked an exclusive to their friends at CNN, saying the reason they added counter-snipers to Butler was because of an Iranian threat to Trump's life. But that doesn't make any sense, because there's been an Iranian fatwa out for Trump since he whacked Soleimani. That was over 4 years ago. And when the feds were pressed about this, they admitted there wasn't any new intelligence from Iran. What a coincidence. The Secret Service surrounding Trump's been an illusion. We believe these agents were in constant communication with each other, using the latest technology we didn't even know about. Turns out the Secret Service counter-sniper team in Butler never had radios that day.
You mentioned that there were text messages from Butler ESU to U.S. Secret Service counter-snipers. I'm curious if that is routine. What was the plan to relay information from locals to the Secret Service initially? What is the protocol?
With respect to the counter-snipers, they were using cellular or telephone text communications. At this point, moving forward, what I have directed now is that everybody should be using the radio net.
If you see a man with a gun on the roof, do you have time to text your counter-snipers? Wouldn't it be a lot easier if you could just radio into their earpiece armed threat on the roof of the AGR building?
That's an interesting piece, ain't it? That day, Crooks, he should have been, would have been, could have been stopped minutes, probably an hour before he took that shot at Trump. These motherfuckers had no radio communication. They were texting each other. How do you have a fucking team of agents protecting the former president of the United States using your form of communication as fucking cell phones? Were you afraid that he was going to tap into the fucking frequency and know what the fuck you all were doing? Or how about the several people who noticed something was wrong, who noticed this jerk off climb up onto a roof via ladder? How many people told local law enforcement agents, told the whoever else was there, told them all, there's a guy on the roof with a gun, there's a guy on the roof with a gun, and they all fucking ignored it. Of course this whole thing was a goddamn setup and shit.
Are those counter-snipers up on the roof just for show? And it looks like these guys had their phones on silent, because when the locals alerted the Secret Service team leader, we still don't know who that is, that there was a suspicious person with a rangefinder creeping around the AGR building, it took the team leader 8 minutes to text the counter-sniper team. 8 minutes is a long time. The counter-snipers, if they even looked at their phones, saw this just 7 minutes before Trump took the stage. But did they even look at their phones? We don't know. They won't tell us. When the locals spotted Crooks on the roof with a rifle, they radioed it to the Secret Service site leader. And the director claims the site leader never got it.
It was so apparent to me.
That's amazing. It really is. All these fucking people, all these fucking agents covering for each other like that. Nobody checked their phones. Nobody checked their messages. They all waited all this fucking time. They were playing the fucking waiting game with Trump's life. You got a guy on the roof, fucking Lee Harvey Oswald III, Jr., whatever he wants to fucking call himself, waiting to take the shot. Oh, remember, he was in a commercial for, what was it, BlackRock, Blackwork, or whatever the fuck the company is? Yeah. Everybody's in cahoots with each other over this shit.
Me, that in this incident, in the final 30 seconds, which has been the focus of what happened before the assailant opened fire, there was clearly radio transmissions that may have happened on that local radio net that we did not have. And so we have to do a better job of co-locating, leveraging that counterpart system, and this is going to drive our operations going forward.
Translation, the Secret Service set up a walkie-talkie system with the locals that they weren't in on. It's like whisper down the lane. And when the news finally gets to the Secret Service, they text their counter sniper guys. That system's destined to fail. They're telling us that the counter sniper team didn't know there was a man on the roof with a gun until shots rang out. That's what they're telling us. Even as we watch videos of Trump supporters screaming, "There's a man with a gun on the roof," the director was caught in another lie. He claimed the Secret Service briefed the locals the morning of the rally.
In the morning of July 13th, a site briefing was conducted with Secret Service personnel and law enforcement partners supporting the event.
But that's not what the locals told us.
We were supposed to get a face-to-face briefing with the Secret Service snipers whenever they arrived, and that never happened. So I think that was probably a pivotal point where I started thinking things were wrong, because that never happened, and we had no communication with the Secret Service.
Oh, yeah. And these were fucking people that were interviewed. Watch what these idiots tell us next.
Secret Service has never talked to any of our people either before the rally that day or to this moment has ever talked to us in regards to what our actions were that day.
The Secret Service hired these guys to protect the president's life, never briefed them that day, never talked to them that day, and haven't talked to them at all since the shooting. What a convenient way not to leave a trail.
Yeah.
The security for this rally was overseen by the Secret Service Pittsburgh field office. And according to a whistleblower who spoke to Senator Hawley's office, there was a female decision maker, but we can't confirm a name at this point. Whoever was responsible for this on the ground is being protected. And Director Rowe says they're actually the victim here.
I wouldn't fucking call it that. They're the victim? Okay.
You can describe the Pittsburgh field office and their level of experience, especially in preparing for events like this, and also have they explained their thinking and how they defined the perimeter that day?
Sure. Thanks, Holmes. You know, our Pittsburgh field office, I don't think there's anybody in the Secret Service who is feeling this more than the men and women of our Pittsburgh field office. And I've met with them. And they are down right now.
Yeah, I'm going to turn that off. Basically, they fucking lie. They're covering their asses up big time. That's what they're doing. They're covering their asses. They always fucking will. We all know what happened that day. They were trying to take Trump out. Any means necessary. And they failed to do so. So now he's got to go up against Kamala Harris, of all fucking people. He's not going up against Sleepy Joe. No. He's going up against Kamala Harris. And now they think, oh, she's a black woman. She's going to be the first black woman in office. It's going to be something. It really is. Okay. Once again, we'll see come November. Yeah. Imagine if Trey Parker or I'm pretty sure they would. It's kind of long overdue if they decide to do that, but I would love to see a sequel to it, especially with what's going on right now. New characters and such. But let's go into our last topic of the show, guys, as we're running close to the 2-hour mark here. And this is probably what a lot of y'all came here for, is AI taking over reality. Oh boy. Artificial intelligence. We've been learning about it for a long, long time, people. For a long, long time we were learning about artificial intelligence, how it works, how it's man-made, how smart it is, can it adapt, how fast can it learn, how much can it learn, what can it do. We've had movies like AI, had Haley Joel Osment in it. You got futuristic movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator. It's not AI, but it's a robotic machine that's being controlled by a artificial intelligence computer.
So that's pretty much in the future. But how dangerous can AI actually get? And the bigger question is it useful to people nowadays? Is it a praise from God, or is it a sin, in a sense? Let's see. The idea that this stuff could actually get smarter than people, I thought it was way off. Obviously, I no longer think that. Jeffrey Hinton, one of Google's top artificial intelligence scientists, also known as the godfather of AI, said that after he quit his job in April, so that he can warn about the dangers of this technology. So you're telling me the guy who created this shit, the guy behind artificial intelligence, the godfather of artificial intelligence, said after when he quit his job in April, so he can warn people about the dangers of this technology. Now, let me tell you something here. Now, I'm going to go into an example here. I was listening to an internet show on YouTube the other night called the Locale Podcast. I'm not a fan of Killer Keemstar, whose name is Dan, by the way. Fuck him. Keemstar is a big piece of YouTube shit. And it also stars Boogie2988, who I still stand behind on a lot of things. And there's a lot of explanations out there, but Boogie, his life is being exploited by Keemstar right now, and it's in all the wrong details with it. And then, of course, you got Jordy Jordan, Wings of Redemption. And it's a podcast. I would say it's about fucking nothing. They just fucking pick on each other randomly and shit like that. So recently, Keemstar came out and said that he was getting ready to come back and start up Drama Alert in September. Drama Alert's coming back, so I'm gonna need another host to run this show and shit and do this and do that. Even though the show is said to be his show, right? Yeah, they are all. Well, I would say like with Boogie, he has his moments. I know he does. You know, I think Boogie sets himself up for a lot of that shit, whether it be for views or whatever. But then again, it's YouTube. Anybody does anything for views, you know, people will watch it. You know, it's entertainment in a sense. But I feel like with Boogie, even though he's made his mistakes, he's done a lot of shit in his life that is questionable. But to me, the biggest piece of shit is Keemstar, and he likes to exploit people for money, and that's what he's doing. Even though he's paying these people to be on his podcast, he's exploiting them, he's embarrassing them for views and money. That's all he does. That's all he's known for. You know, he'll put the biggest fucking gossip out there, talk about it, and make money off of it. Just like if he knew about the drama between Tom and I, he could probably make a fucking buck. He'd be like, I don't know who this guy Tom is. I don't know who this guy Mike is, but they were having a big fight over who's going to run this YouTube show, URC. You know, it's not how it went, but you are still a piece of shit, Keemstar, you know? Just imagine if that fucking happened, you know? But getting back on track, recently he just had a show where he was talking about he wants to get somebody in there that can make a poster for, well, somebody did for last night's episode of Boogie and Wings go out grocery shopping. You know, that they want to see what these guys eat on a daily or weekly basis, you know. And they had somebody create a poster for them. Now, with me, I like to go standard with Photoshop and shit. You know, edit, paste, whatever, copy, paste, edit, whatever. I like to do my stuff from scratch. I like it to be organic. I like to do something that I like to have something that I work on. If it takes me an hour to put something together and it looks really good, that's something I can take pride in. Just like the thumbnails for all these podcasts that I've done, URC, TuneIn Live. You know, I would pick random pictures, you know, put them together. I would put the logo in them and stuff and say, hey, this is our show, da-da-da-da. Boom, it's out there. That's a quickie right there. But no, Keem is looking for somebody who can use
the artificial intelligence system and the software to create shit for them. That's just a prime example. But then when you look at it, you got artificial intelligence all around you. In fact, on the past episode, guys, okay, of URC, and you guys probably remember this too. In the past episode, I was using, what is it, Copilot? Yeah, I was using Copilot for Windows. And I was like, write me a story for this character, for that character. Write me a story. And it would write me not a full story, but it would write me something to where I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool, I guess. It was funny. I read it live. Tom loved it. I hope you guys love it too. But yeah, it's like you got programs like Copilot in Windows, and even on your mobile devices. You know, on my phone I have fucking Copilot. All you gotta do is look at it and say, hey, do this for me, do that for me, make this for me, make that for me, and it'll fucking do it for you. But has it really got to the point where we're using artificial intelligence to do everything for us? Have we really gotten that lazy? Have we really gotten that lazy to where we want to use computer software to do the bulk of things for us? Even in some movies now, you got scenes that are made with the, generated AI. Hell, people are even talking about generating movie scripts, song lyrics with AI. Has it got to the point where creativity is no longer a thing? Are we making this generation of children, this new generation, are we making them that lazy to where they don't have to work anymore? They don't have to lift a finger. They don't have to learn how to write. They don't have to learn how to type. They don't have, well, of course they're going to have to learn how to read somehow. I would hope so. But did we create a technology or evolve a technology in a way to where the next generation is just lazy and worthless and everything is just going down the shitters? Yeah, joining the Panaverse pretty much is the same thing about AI. Yeah. I did watch that too, the South Park episode, or that South Park special on Paramount. I did watch that. But yeah, it's just it's saddening. I don't want to say it's sickening, but it's saddening that our lifestyle is now getting to the point where you got people who get offended by somebody who stands there and farts, by somebody who says, God bless you, by somebody who says, hello, ma'am, how you doing, sir? Anything you say, people get hurt and offended. You offended me. You misgendered me. You called me this. You said that. Oh, I gotta call the feelings police on you. Oh. This fucking generation of pussies. Of fucking pussies. You got men who cannot compete in sporting events against other men because I'm not strong enough, I'm not fast enough, I want to be somebody. So what do? They put on a fucking wig and a bra. They go to the women's sporting events. I'm a woman, don't judge me.
what do? They'll beat women in fucking swimming events, running events, and wasn't there something recently where a man was fighting a woman in the ring and beat her? Have we truly gotten to the point in our lives, in this generation, to where men are more fucking pussy now than ever? Where they feel like they gotta be number one. They gotta be number one. They gotta be ahead of the curve. To where they got to compete against women, and women are like, wait a minute, what the fuck? But then again, these are all women and men who are supportive of the propaganda and the agenda of the LBGT. And I've said it before on this program, I've said it before on the URC program, I am not homophobic. I have nothing against homosexuals, gay men, gay women. I am against the propaganda spewed out by the LGBT network. These are the same motherfuckers that are trying to pull our children away from us and groom them at any young age. Trying to tell 8-year-old or 7-year-old children, it's okay to be a boy. It's okay to be a girl of the opposite sex. It's okay to mutilate your body. If you feel like a girl, but you're in a boy's body, it's okay to chop off your PP, Junior. And you, little Alyssa, when you get older, it's okay to chop off your breasts. You can be whoever you want to be. Yeah. And then later on down the line, you have women. And I'm serious. I've watched a video on this. If I could find a video, okay, if it is on TikTok, I think it's on TikTok. Let me see if I can find this video. And I think it was a Charlie Kirk video. I want to say it was Charlie Kirk. What is this one? Is it this one? Tell me about it. Yes, it is. Okay. I want you guys to listen to this video here. This is where I'm getting at.
Give me the hard questions.
LGBTQ.
What's up?
LGBTQ.
Yep, what about it?
What is your stance on LGBTQ?
This is controversial for me to say, but I'm going to tell you what I think. I believe that transgenderism specifically is a mental health disorder. I believe it's a mental health condition. We have to have open conversation in this country. But I don't think the compassionate thing to do. What?
It's how they fucking feel.
That's how they feel. And you know what? I'll tell you a story, and you deserve to hear this. I met 2 young women in this race about 6 months ago. They're in their 20s now. Both of them had their breasts cut off. One of them had her uterus removed. They're in their 20s. They regret that decision. One of them wants to have kids. She'll never have kids. The other one will never breastfeed her children. They'll never be the same because they had that done to them when they were teenagers. That is not compassion. That is cruelty. So my view is this: if you're an adult, you're free to live your life however you want as long as you're not hurting somebody else. If you're a man, you can dress how you want. If you're a woman, you can dress how you want. Identify how you want. We're a free country, and I'm not going to stop you. But kids are not the same as adults. And we have to protect our children. Give me the...
Yes. And that's what I've been getting at all along, too. When it comes to that stuff. That's the kind of shit that I'm against. When you got somebody who's part of a fucking group, a network, that tells you it's okay to do that shit, no, it's not okay. When you're an adult, yes, you could be wherever the fuck you want to be. Right now,
I call it a fad. It's a mental health crisis. It's what it is. You got people who are very mentally, how do I put this? They're not disabled. But let's just say you got people out there at a young age that are really fucked in the head. And they think this is all okay. It's all a fucking fad. If you want to be gay, that's your choice. I'm not going to look down on you if you're gay, if you're a gay woman or a gay man. But when you start doing some real mental fucking shit and you come around me and my children, watch yourself or you will be adjusted. I don't see it being fixed anytime soon. Yeah, exactly. It's just a fad. That's all it is. It's a fad right now. Because there are people trying to fit in with that kind of shit. And I'm going to take another break, guys. I'll be right back.
It's very cool.
Now at Dunkin' Donuts, get an insulated summer sipper filled with 32 ounces of Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. It keeps things surprisingly cool.
Sunjet, shining brighter every day, presents this season's travel forecast. Clear skies and low fares on Sunjet. Call 1-800-4SUNJET and join the thousands who are saving hundreds of dollars on airfares. On Sunjet, you can fly from New York via Newark to Orlando from just $79. New York to Tampa St. Pete for just $79. And New York to Fort Lauderdale is also just $79. Seats are limited, so call 1-800-4SUNJET to reserve yours. Sunjet, we're shining brighter every day.
Alright, and so let's go ahead and get this wrapped up for the latter half of everything. Guys, I think I made my point about all of that. But yeah, aside from all of that, aside from today's generation mind fucking themselves with what genders they are, what sex they are, what machine they're identifying as tomorrow. Aside from all of that, now we got artificial intelligence. It's made its way into everybody's workplace and home. That's right, artificial intelligence is in your home in any which way, shape, or form. It's on your computers. It's in your smart devices, your cell phones. It's in your video game systems at times. It's in your wireless headsets. No matter how you see it, everybody uses artificial intelligence in some way. And I feel like life today has gotten so fucking lazy with using it. But sadly, that is all the time I have for today, guys. If you guys want to read up on the article that I was starting to read a little bit ago, that is in our Discord server under Tuned In Light Scraps. So I'm going to go ahead and end this stream, guys. I'd like to thank you all for coming out today and checking it out. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube. Once again, we are back on Twitter. Link for that is down below. And once again, guys, thank you for joining us today. And until next time, stay tuned in.
What we do here is go back.